to keep your love teeth. I don't need you to kiss the mic. I need you to look
All
directly
right,
into the camera and speak to it. Now, are we
we
live?
live.
I think we're live. What in the devil
We
is
live.
happening up
What's going
here?
on? How's everybody going tonight? We live. You see, me and Val, we working before the show going on. What's up tonight, Val, the voice?
Okay, so hit the like button and share. Please share the show. We're going to get to it. Welcome to Interludes Extra Talk on Tuesday. And if you could hear these conversations before the show, that's a show in itself. This poor child was singing with the Jack Your Body. I don't know what this poor child was. What were you singing?
Man, Jack your body, baby. You got them house people got to know. Dun 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 dun. Hey, we don't understand. Hey, that was that. Hey, I can't understand. Come on, man. We put y'all back. I need some of those warehouse 1986, 87, 88 babies in the warehouse downtown Chicago. Sawyers. Where y'all at? Show up. Where y'all at?
Okay,
Come on,
so
man.
Coach, we have a national audience and then sometimes it's international. So
There you go.
we
Oh, London.
like,
Oh,
yeah, we're over. Yeah,
London love
we
funk. London
exactly.
love Farley Jack Master Funk, man.
We're not going to be talking about house music, but we are going to be talking wine, spirits, and sports. It's another edition of Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesday. Let's go. It's Interludes Extra presents another edition of Talk on Tuesdays. We are back. We are here. We are live. And it's the Tuesday after, but we keep it moving. We keep it moving. Of course, one of our affiliate sponsors, Key Spot, connect, share, and grow. I just go right to the connect word. It's actually supposed to be share, connect, and grow. And of course, every third Thursday, you can connect with other small business entrepreneurs on the Key Spot networking virtual meeting. I always have a good time when we go that. And of course, a DJ saved my life. It is the ebook. It's available now. You can scan the QR code or go to purelighthouse.net. And of course, we got some, what do we got? Oh, we have merch. So right now we are selling coffee mugs with the logo, which you see, which is the cover of the book, the t-shirts, and I'll be adding the sweatshirts. And then on top of that, we have the Pull Up Podcast swag as well. So there's a lot of things that are happening. Of course, if you are interested in starting your own podcast, pretty please, with sugar on top, connect with us over on patreon.com/interludes. We are starting to populate that area with more stuff. So it's a wonderful thing that we do. And of course, Mr. Springer is in the building. And of course, right here, we have Coach Tony, who likes to sing and do other things. You know, it's a fun thing. You're a singer, right?
Just keep it real. You know, I just kind of get up people what they want. That's all, man. I just give them what they want.
So over the weekend, I don't know what was your weekend like. I had a jam-packed weekend, but I'm gonna start with you. What was your weekend like?
Man, you know, I want to send a shout out. I think my kid's watching the show tonight. I told him I want to send a shout out to my kid, Brad Grayson. My kid came up, played basketball at Fisk University, one of the schools I had a wonderful opportunity about. HBCU, it's coach at. About a decade ago, he came in town for Fisk homecoming this weekend, and we had an opportunity to get out and play a little golf together, and hang out, just kind of catch back up, coaching player. And it's just great to know, Val. You know, 10 years has gone by that quickly, man. You know, and the kids still love me. They still keep in touch with me, and they said that I did something, and was a very instrumental person, in their lives. So that's what my weekend was about.
Oh my gosh. That's good. That's good. And of course, I've only played golf a couple of times. And I know Top Golf does not count,
Right.
but it does not count. So that's what I thought. So it's all good. But what
Next
I
time I'm
wanted,
at home, I'm gonna scoop you up. Next time I'm at home, so we can get some different pictures. I'm gonna scoop you up on some nice day. You're gonna come out, ride around in a golf cart, drive the golf cart while I play a little golf that afternoon, or we can catch up.
that seems like a thing to do. So one of my dear friends, Renee Bradford Jackson, was here from North Carolina. And then she educated me, and that's her right there, because this was, I think, her second visit to Chicago. She was here for a conference, but she introduced me to this gentleman right here, a jazz musician, a very talented gentleman. And why now is my brain freezing on his name right now? So I'm gonna grab it real quick. But he was here, and okay, here we go. We're gonna bring up his name. His name is Perez Whitted. So he has the Perez Whitted Quartet that performed at the Green Mill Jazz Bar, and I got a chance to experience some good jazz. They did a very classic in a sentimental mood. There it is, Perez Whitted Quintet.
Nice ambiance up in there. Oh, I like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I want to, if I could, I wanted to make sure that I show just a little bit of an introduction of the musicians as they were getting ready to be presented. Let's do this real quick.
Welcome back to Perez Whitted Quintet. Please welcome back on drums, Xavion Valladay, Jonathan Wood on bass, Andrew Toombs laughing at me on piano, Eddie Baird on saxophone, and on trumpet. Let's hear for the great Perez Whitted.
Before he played a note, I made sure to stop recording because we don't have to. We're not trying to get no trouble.
Man, I thought you should have played a little bit of that. No, now where's that bar at, Val? That's a nice little spot.
Lawrence and Broadway in Chicago on the north side.
Yeah, north side.
Yeah. And they don't take no cards. You have to pay cash for your drinks to come in, all that stuff. They're like, we don't take cards here.
Oh, I'm glad you told me that, because we don't hey, no different than going on the south side to the house of the hoagie. Don't take no cards off. You can go get you a hoagie sandwich, whatever you want, but you're gonna get the cash. Oh, you ain't got cash? Well, don't worry. ATM machine right outside the door. Do your thing.
Exactly. And I see Bella is in the building. She says, let's go, Val and Coach T. Appreciate that. Oh my goodness. But this was such a wonderful, I want to call it, experience. And it was for me to get out and to kind of just see it. Giving me a vibe of, remember the movie, what was that? Mo Better Blues?
Yes, that's the movie my sister was in. Yes, I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's kind of the vibe that I had. So they did 3 sets and was there until I think 1 o'clock in the morning. We ducked out after their first set at about 10 o'clock.
It's the vibe. We want to vibe. Yeah, man. Oh man. Ooh, and look like it's nice. And for those that don't on that area, nice little area of town. So that's real good.
Now I got a chance. I'm going to be in a Christmas play with my church. So friend to the show, Carla Braithwaite. It's her brother. We were at her brother's home in Barrington, Illinois. Now Barrington is a distance from where I am in Chicago, but there's my friend,
way on the northwest side.
That's extremely north. So she is there. I meant to get a picture of Rudy Penna, but he and Carla and one other person, Karen, they pinned this Christmas play together, and now I think it's called Christmas Carol. And what you see is they're shooting parts of the play in this home, and they took pictures, and there was like a green screen. It was a whole thing. And so my thanks to, and I'm always excited. My thanks to one of the actors, young Joshua. You see him in over there. There's Felicia Oliver. That's my friend there. And then also Diamond, who's the lead character in this play. So we shot all day Saturday.
What's the play about?
The play is about Christmas and getting your priority straight. I'm going to be playing podcaster number 2.
Okay. Who's the podcaster number 1?
It will be another actor, another gentleman that'll be portraying that. And so we are going to be on the sidelines watching things happen, but some things were filmed and then some things are going to be live. And I think we, along with the singers and stuff, we're going to be live. So this was a fun time to do. And then of course, Renee and I went and hung out again on Sunday. And this is at Trinity Church of Christ, Reverend Otis Moss III. This is Pastor Renee trained under his father. The woman to the left, that's Renee and the wife and the Mrs. Moss. So I wanted to make sure that I mentioned them, but it was really a good time. And I had another picture of him like presenting it or whatever. But and then we went to Jagrill in Hyde Park.
Okay.
Yeah. So we really had a good time. But I'm telling you,
everything except for the Bears winning on Sunday was great.
Yeah, we kind of ran into that traffic, so I was trying to avoid it because a lot of people started to duck out. What was it, 19-3? They only got a field goal, and that was it.
Crazy. Hey, we could have kept Justin Fields. Listen to me, McCaskies. We could have kept Justin Fields. At least he's going to get us 80, 90 yards on the ground every single game, plus put the ball up. And he's doing well in Pittsburgh. So why leave him? That's a whole nother story. That's another podcast.
Oh my God. So I did something now. I do a business tips and tricks podcast on Tuesdays, and I always do research for the show, maybe a day or two before, and I'm subscribed to Forbes. Forbes has a YouTube channel. Did you know that, Coach? Every major magazine and stuff, they have a YouTube channel and they do their thing. But what I ran across was Fawn Weaver. Had never heard of the CEO who has highlighted the story of Nearest Green, a formerly enslaved Black man, fondly known as Uncle Nearest. And he was a master distiller that trained who? Jack Daniel.
Jack Daniel. Then the story goes, as I mentioned to you earlier, if it wasn't for her daughter going and seeing her, basically her kinfolk's last name on a stone and bringing it back to her mom to do some research, it never would have happened. And then, of course, unfortunately, the lawsuit came down a few years ago, and the Daniel family didn't want to see that through, so they negotiated a distribution type of deal. And she, Val, is the only minority female who sits on the board of directors, on the international board of directors for wine and spirits. That is absolutely insane. And I was telling you the other day, at the Jack Daniel distillery, they've now got Party Central. Basically, they have a night of wine, bourbon tasting and partying, and then they also have a brunch. So if you're ever in the area and you want to go, partake, it's very nice. They got 3 of Uncle Nearest's brands out right now. One's a rye and 2 are bourbons, and they're all good. I've tasted all of them.
Wow. And a little bit more about how Fawn found out about this. She said that she saw a 2016 article in the New York Times, and it was Jack Daniels embraces a secret ingredient, help from a slave. And after reading the story, she realized she couldn't think of any ubiquitous American brand that could trace its roots back to an African American. And so according to this is this is according to marthastewart.com, that she gathered 20 historians, archaeologists, genealogists, I'm saying that right, conservators, and pulling up documents and artifacts from 6 states. And then she ended up purchasing eventually the 313-acre property where Jack Daniel and Nearest Green, they both lived, and where Nearest Green was the only master distiller for distillery number 7. And this is where Nearest taught Jack to make whiskey, and in that very distillery, and where Jack later created Jack Daniel distillery. So a lot of people are familiar with Jack Daniels. They're familiar with that whiskey, but how many people are familiar with Nearest Green?
Yep.
Hmm?
I said, and the crazy part about it is what you just mentioned. Back in the day, in order to keep, as they say, the distilleries around the United States together, they all had numbers. And so think about, you're talking about this is distillery number 7. But not only distillery number 7, Val, let's put some history on it for those that don't know. This is also during the same time, this is a home of the Ku Klux Klan. So a black man during slavery was not going to be the face of a bourbon. It just wasn't going to happen.
Right.
Death by suicide.
And I think that with that, and then she's paid this. She bought the farm, and she literally bought the farm. You know, you've heard people say bought the farm, and this is where the thing made this is where they made the wine and the whiskey. And here's the thing: is that Weaver is the first woman, an African American woman, to lead a spirit brand. Like, think about all of the alcohol that some of us have consumed. I'm not a drinker, so I can't think of it. But if you think of you think of the alcohol, the spirits, and all, there are very few, if none, who are leading up. Now, this the Nearest Green, or Uncle Nearest, is a $1.1 billion company on tap this year to make $80 million, and it has been branded the number 1 bourbon and whiskey since 2019. Every year
during this time period, and a lot of that left out of that article, those lawsuits going on after the situation. Again, the young girl, if she hadn't had an opportunity to take that field trip, none of that would have been possible. It just, it was like heaven sent that God kind of had all the stars in line. And then the lawsuit could have damaged Jack Daniels, but they decided to reconcile outside and just say, let me distill it and let me barrel it, and then we can produce and, be production. We can figure this out so everyone's happy in the game. And it worked out. And to have this young lady lead up the whole fight for everything is absolutely amazing. And she's an African American. And here's something else the article doesn't talk about. Last year, she teamed up with where my son goes to school at Middle Tennessee State University, and they teamed up to offer a wine spirit making class. Now, again, we're not talking about wine, we're talking about spirits. So this is hard bourbon classes. They don't grow wine down there, they make bourbon. So they teamed up with Tennessee State University, Val, to show young college kids who want to go into business how to make it, distill it, produce it, the whole 9 yards. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and here's the thing, and let me go to the next picture here. It was important for Fawn to make sure that the descendants of Nearest Green were a part of the history of making this, and they debuted this wine, or not wine, but they debuted this alcohol in 2017.
Bourbon.
Thank you, bourbon in 2017. And who you're looking at right now is master blender Victoria Edie Butler, and she is a direct descendant of Nearest Green. Now, when he was a slave, it was Nathan Green, but everyone knew him as Nearest Green. And so he's the one that trained Jack to do the distillery. But I'm grateful that when the suit happened, the descendants of Jack Daniels said, no, we don't want the suit. Let's see if we can work together and change, and they change things around.
Sure, that's good, because sometimes the young people don't do right, i.e. Waltons, right? Walmart, they don't do right, and sometimes that happens. But to see this, and it's a win-win, because I'm sure the kids saw no one's going to stop buying bourbon, and I got a brand new bourbon basically to add to the shelf. And to add this brand new bourbon to the shelf, and no one's going to stop buying, but they're going to buy more. It was a win-win. We can distill it, we can house it, and we can ship it, because even if you win a lawsuit, the money is going to take you to build a new distillery, put everything in place. You may use all the money if you won from the lawsuit. So why not come together, keep that money in your pocket, and figure out how to grow the business? And they did just that. And absolutely phenomenal. And to give the credit back to the African-American brothers, absolutely huge. We don't get that many that often.
So like I said, before yesterday, I had never heard of Fawn Weaver. I've never heard of Uncle Nearest, never heard of any of it. But this is phenomenal for me as someone that is a CEO of a company that I have right now with Pure Lighthouse Media. But with her, like I said, she was interviewed on The Breakfast Club. She's been interviewed on CBS. Right. She was highlighted for a segment for Black History Month. Like, this is, if you do not know.
And for me, I'm a connoisseur. This is 1896 right here that we checking out, that I'm tasting tonight. 1896 Uncle Nearest, 96 proof. They've got a rye, they got another bourbon. And what's good about it is that it hit the shelves, and they come in fifths. They don't come in smaller paints. They're trying to make them, but they're flying off the shelves, at least here in Tennessee. Obviously, we're in the back door from where they're made, and that's the whole collection right there. And it's going to get nothing but bigger. And I applaud her for the simple fact of the matter was she's a master brewer and was able to go in and learn the business. Now think about it, Val. You go through this problem, you figure it out, you buy the property, you get everything, you do it. Then most people will set on it because of the whole story. She goes to a university and negotiates a brand new class to be offered to become master brewers. That's, to me, that's most phenomenal, because as those kids graduate and get their degrees, what do you think they're going to get the jobs? They're going to go with her to get those jobs, which is going to continue to grow the brand down the road. Absolutely phenomenal.
So like I said, and I wanted to make sure that I showed the whole collection that's there, and that's according to Bristol Farms. Like I said, I wanted to make sure Queen April is with us. She says, wow. She's like, this is amazing.
Amazing. But what amazing, April.
Yeah, and yeah, April also says, I had never heard of Fawn Weaver either. And like I said, I did the research yesterday for the morning show this morning. I was inviting you to that. And then finally I said, you know what, we gotta cover it for tonight, because what initially got me going to cover Fawn was, my favorite movie, my favorite men, the best men, are coming together because they have a bourbon that they are going to be presenting to the world, which I'm totally excited about. I think according to Essence, and then also the Spirit Business, the best man, they're going to come together and create a bourbon brand. And it's the launch of Sable Bourbon. And this happened back in August. So of course, this is a few of the actors: Taye Diggs, Harold Pinot, and then the director, Malcolm Lee, and Morris Chestnut. But yeah, so they're coming together and they're going to be putting together a bourbon. Isn't that exciting?
That's exciting, but everyone's getting a chance to do that, Val. I'm looking at, like Club Shay Shay. He's got his yak, and a couple other guys have got something. Maybe, not only with my book, my man's in them may have to, get on the bourbon trail. Who knows?
You gonna write this book, My Man's in Them. You need help from Monique, Lisa, my writing mentor. You
Oh yeah,
need some
yeah,
help.
yeah. She reached out to me already. I got a couple people that was crazy, but I'm just talking about my man's and them may be on a bourbon kick. They may have to produce a bourbon as well, Val. You know what I'm saying? If it's nothing but those little airplane shooters, you know what I'm saying? That's a great way to start. Sell more airplane shooters than you sell fifths. Only difference is the price point. Remember that.
So Sable is a joint spirits venture between Harold Pinot,
Yep.
Morris Chestnut, Tay Diggs, and the best man writer director Malcolm D. Lee. And they
Yep.
said they were just curious to figure out what this is going to be about. And then they said, let's see, Bespoken is going to be the company. They had met with this company, Bespoken, and they were interested in doing spirits.
What's the name of the bourbon? What are they going to call it?
They're going to call the bourbon Sable. And
Okay.
let me see if I can show you what this looks like.
Yeah,
Yeah, you see the bottle. You see the bottle to the left there, or to your right.
A little difficult. Oh yeah. I see it right there. Yeah. Yes. Hey, that looks
Right.
like that looks like a dark bourbon. So that looks like it's probably about between 96 and 105 right there.
And
Now,
this is what,
let me ask
according
you
to
a question, Val.
it's been a smooth process. We agreed on everything: the flavor profile, the bottle, the imagery, the lettering, the color of the pattern. All those things were very, very easy. And then as choosing the name for the spirit, I think that Lee said, I don't think we knew at the time that Sable meant black.
Oh,
but it certainly means black and classy.
there you go. Let me ask you a question, Val, and help you out as you getting your learning curve on. Do you understand, as they talk about, the heat of a bourbon?
How hot it gets under fire because alcohol burns. I don't know.
No, but that's kind of, I like that answer. That's a good try. As they said, give it a good old college try. No, so just to teach you something real quick as you get into bourbon. Gail had an opportunity with Shabuzi the other day to try some bourbon on the show while he's saying everybody in the bar gets tipsy, which is amazes me. But when you're looking at bourbon, Val, you have a rye, you have a whiskey, and you have a bourbon. It's 3 brands. Just like you have a tequila, there's only 3 brands in tequila, and which are what?
You are talking to someone that is not familiar with any brand.
So I got the same thing in the tequila. You have a Blanco, you have a Reposado, and then you have an Añejo. The Blanco being the silver, Reposado in the middle, Añejo being the darkest. So in the whiskey and the bourbon game, the rye is more of a wheat base. You got a whiskey, then you have a bourbon. So if you do a test and you pour a shot of rye whiskey, bourbon whiskey, and just pure bourbon, then the strongest goes towards the bourbon. And if you drop an ice cube, and how you can tell how hot a bourbon is, meaning that the percentage of alcohol to content, which means it could be 40% alcohol and 60% content, which is 100 proof. It could be 45 and 40, which is 90 proof, so forth and so on, or hotter than that. Is you pour the liquor in a glass and you take 1 ice cube and you drop it in. And as you look at each of those glasses, from the rye, the whiskey, and the bourbon, if the ice melts, that tells you how hot the whiskey is or how hot that brand is. Because one is going to dissolve a block of ice quicker than the other one because the heat is hot.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just got an education from Coach Tony.
Yeah,
not only does he coach, he's a connoisseur of the spirit. He knows about it.
You let the spirits move you, girl. Let the spirits move you. I'm telling you right.
So April says that Jamie Foxx also has a bourbon. Didn't know that.
Yes, I knew that. What?
And then of course she's giving you some props. She says, "Come on now." And then Ashley says, "Nice." He is saying that you know your bourbon.
You when you get into it, and for those because there's probably a few females on here like myself smoke cigars. So when you get into that, you start doing a lot of pairing. So Val, you may be a wine drinker. You know how they always pair a wine with a meal, like a certain Pinot or Chardonnay or whatever with a spaghetti or shrimp or steak or lobster or whatever it may be. They do the same thing with a bourbon, but with a cigar. So there's certain brands of cigar that can bring the taste of the bourbon out. So just one more little tidbit of info. You know, I'm here because Coach Tony love the peoples.
So all I can say is that congratulations to the men of I want to call it the best men. Oh, I forgot. I didn't put that picture up. But like I said, I'm really happy that they are going to be doing their thing with doing a thing called Sable. And so I'm thinking I like that idea. I did not
I'm gonna get a bottle too. I'm gonna get a bottle
Yeah.
when I find out it's on the shelf and I find out where I can get it. I'm gonna go get a bottle. I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna let you know, man.
Yeah, because I'm loving the idea that, and here's the thing, because I love the movie The Best Man, which initially was released in 1999, and of course they did a deal with Peacock a year ago where they had the kind of a series on the Best Man.
Yep.
But I think this is almost kind of continues kind of that wonderful classy legacy of the black men from the Best Man. So I say entertainment and spirits, they go together often, and it's always cool when you're able to have your own brand, because there's very few people of color in this space of spirits. Very
You know what
few
that
people.
remind me of, Val?
Mhm. What does that remind you of?
Remind me of doing your work early and be retired onto a golf course. Not that you can't go play golf in another location, but you got your own course right there. You know what I'm saying? Just get out, you can taste it. So it's like with these, and it's good because they understand, one, they're a group of brothers, successful brothers, and they understand that most brothers, especially, are bourbon drinkers. That's, I mean, in a nutshell.
Yeah, so like I said, this is very exciting for me, and like I said, I definitely want to make sure that I don't know, just had that conversation with you, because I know you are someone that knows that or whatever. But of course, like we used to do back in the day when we did talk on Tuesdays, of course, we had a replay for the pull up podcast on yesterday, but we're going to actually have a sports segment for our situation here, but we'll do that after these messages. We'll see you in like 30 seconds. Here we go. Woo-hoo.
Are you a small business owner looking to grow? Introducing the Key Spot mobile app. I'm Cynthia McAllister, owner of the IT company Quality SAP. Since 2016, we have been supporting small businesses and help them promote and share their businesses, services, and events across the country. KeySpot is more than just an app. We are a network providing community. KeySpot, connecting communities and supporting small businesses.
And we're back with another edition of Talk on Tuesdays. And of course, our very own Coach Tony is here. And of course, we're going to get to chitting and chatting about some things. But of course, I wanted to find out from you about, we were talking about some things regarding sports. And Jayden Daniels was who was mentioned. I think his mom has become his business manager. Is that correct?
Yeah. So before I get started, Val, I told my girls, some of them are listening, shout out to my girls at St. Cecilia High School for the start of a beautiful year. I am excited. We look very good. Had a great practice tonight, and I'm just excited to kick the season off next week, Val. So next week I get going overdrive, part 2. I'm already busy. I'm going to get busier. So just want to say that real quick. And the reason why I say that is because so many mothers there that are involved in the program, and you'll be amazed of these wonderful moms. I have them summer in and summer out, winter in and winter out, Val, that are coming to the gym night in and night out, picking them up from school, bringing them back to the gym for practice, bringing them back to the gym for training. And you have Regina Daniels, you get a chance to just show back up, and Jayden's mother. And not only that, there's some very strict rules, Val. You know, you just can't be an agent, because back in the day, when the old guys used to graduate and go to the league, you know, everybody want to put their homeboys in charge or their brother in charge or whomever. And the league changed the policy several years ago that in order to be an agent, you not only got to take the classes and the courses and pass the exam, which is only given once a year around June or July, but it costs you $1,500, $2,000 to apply for your license. And then you still have to have at least a BA, a master's, and a JD degree. So, you know, it ain't easy. Yes. So you ain't just, you just ain't gonna go out here and represent your baby because you want to represent him. You got to make sure that you're right.
And why do you think it was important for Jayden's mom to represent her son?
Well, let's go back. She's not the first. She's the first to represent a mega superstar in Jayden, which is the first round draft pick. But we go back a while, and we go back to Lamar Jackson's mother, Felicia Jackson, who represented her. And for those that don't know, Lamar Jackson is a quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, two-time MVP, and just waiting on a Super Bowl ring, which I got him pushing close to this year. You know, and she became that during the year that they were actually trying to cut her son. They were trying to cut her son from the freaking league. So he was washed up and knew this net. He came back with his mama during the pandemic and became his agent, signed for the biggest contract ever. And then same thing with Alicia Jones. She also the mother of Jayden Jones as well, did the same thing. So I think that the thing, Val, is these mothers are sitting in the foreground of these workouts, practices, games, whatever. And although they do get the credit, you know, because as a dad, and I've gotten my son to practice and did everything else, I don't know about you, Val. You don't very rarely see a kid, a young man jump on TV. Hey, I want to thank my dad. You know, he did this and that, man. No, they all like, Mama, hey, Mama. I want to thank my mama. My mama, you know, she did this and that. So I think it's amazing, especially when you got the single parents to jump in. And then they decide to not only jump in, Val, but I'm going to do the work. I'm going to pass the exams. And I'm going to get out there just like those men are and show them that I can do it. And these women, they're coming up. And we got 4 or 5 big-time mothers in the representing football player, a couple in basketball. And I think it's going to get nothing but bigger, especially, I'll tell you one more time, told y'all, especially in women's sports, basketball in particular, and soccer. You're about to see these mothers come out the woodworks, start to represent their kids.
Yeah, and this is them in the EPSIs. Jayden plays football, is that correct?
Yeah, he's an ex-graduate from Louisiana State, LSU. Had an opportunity to go there and then ended up being a first-round draft pick to the Washington Commanders in D.C.
Okay, and this was wonderful. April says that mothers involved in their children's future is so important. She loves it. And then, of course, and she thanks you for the education on it all. But like I said, I think I didn't realize they had that many requirements for you as a parent to represent your own child. Like, to me, that makes sense. Like, I'm thinking, of course, I'm going to have the best interest in it, but maybe there's some guardrails that need to be put up to say, like, okay, what's the split going to be, or what's this going to be? If I'm going to be a momager, not a manager, a momager, you know, what else do I need to know? But I feel like a lot of sports agents or entities like that feel like you are our parent and you need to stay in your lane as parent. I am the one that can get the deals for my child, or I can get the deals for your kid. You don't have to come into this lane. But I don't agree with that. I think if I have an invested interest in my kid's future, and whatever I got to do to learn to, you know, manage my son. What show was that? That was oh, what was the name of that show? The Game. And Wendy
Oh,
Raquel
yeah.
Robinson played the momager of her fictitious of the Sables, the saber tiger team that was in San Diego. So she was the one that was managing her son, and people were like, you don't know what you're doing. And she only had him, but then she wanted to expand out in the latter seasons. But that
But it's
reminds
funny.
me of the fictitious story from The Game. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny that sitcom was pre all this, isn't it?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so it's bigger than what you say, though, Val. And even though his mama got it going on, hello. Um, the thing is not so much as what you just said in terms of I'm the momager and I should know better, because all momagers don't know better. All
Mm,
momagers don't have the right invested interest, and all momagers are sometimes in it for themselves. And
okay.
because of the background of the kid, hope y'all are listening. Depending on the background of the kids, sometimes that momager don't have the well-versed education to understand those big ticket numbers, right? Um, so a lot of those momagers and the kids grow up in those hoods. And the big ticket items they know is the money the dope man make on the corner, adding another zero on the back of a stack. So
Mhm.
you have got to be in a position where years ago that these athletes said, oh man, my sister named Val, she gonna represent me. Okay, we put Val into a negotiation room and Val couldn't handle herself. All she talked about is me, 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 me. Nobody want to hear that. What's going on with the athlete? What about the athlete right now? What about the endorsements in terms of uh, liquid products, nutritional products, jeans,
Mhm.
social media? What about all those? What about the cut, the percentages? And you have to understand that latency of the business. And when you don't have that, a lot of those, as you say, momagers were not willing to go the extra distance. So then they started hiring outside, and unfortunately, the majority of the agents were PWI guys. So when you look at that, a lot of these moms now are taking on because of the change in the game, Val, and because they are getting better and more knowledgeable at what's going on. Why? Because of what me and Mark Costner talked about, the game of the NIL in college. So these moms now, and if you're a mother or auntie or cousin or grandmama or whatever it may be, as I'm talking to you, get to understand the lay of the land as your young child comes out of high school, entering college. And if he or she is in a situation that are able to play big time sports, no matter what it may be, and able to knock off these name, image, and likeness contracts, Val, and pick those deals up, and you decided, oh, I like this, oh, I like the feel of this, then just make sure that you already have your ducks in order. If not, someone will be representing your child.
Yeah, and you have to make sure that, I like how you said you got to make sure that your ducks are in a row,
Yep.
and what making sure that you can read the contracts, or you understand what the percentages are of payouts, that you understand how to get and to negotiate a product or something that would align with the brand of your kid, because
Exactly.
ultimately when children become athletes and they're in any one of these fields of soccer, baseball, football, basketball, and they go on it doesn't and if they're great in college, of course, if they transition to the pros, that's one thing, but the name, image, and likeness, the NIL that I've been learning about that from you, and then of course with your company, the Rise NIL, it's a matter of us making sure that we understand, or at least the parents understand, like, this is, if my kid is going to be aligned with Nike, or if my kid is going to be aligned with another brand, Adidas, what does that deal look like? How long will that deal run for? And what do I have to do? How is my face going to be used in conjunction with your brand? Like all of those things have to be answered. Yeah.
So let me give you an example. Your son, not saying you didn't feed him right, but your son is a lineman. He's about 310 pounds, a lineman, and my son is the quarterback, Jayden Daniels, right?
Okay.
Now, they both come out. My son gets drafted to Washington, and your son gets drafted, let's say, to Chicago Bears. Okay.
Okay.
Your son's a lineman, my son's a quarterback. What's the difference between the two getting drafted?
The contract.
Okay, perfect. What about the contract?
The percentage of the contract, how it's
structured.
Yes.
Right. So what do you think the pay difference would be?
Pay difference could be, if that person is a rookie, it would be the standard what the salary is for a rookie versus.
Both of them are rookie. My son's a rookie and your son's a rookie. Both of them.
Okay. Well,
they just play two different positions.
Then it would be, who is the person that came in their draft pick, whatever their draft pick was.
Exactly right. So even if your son came right behind my son, let's say hypothetically, my son was drafted number 10th in the draft in the first round, and your son was drafted number 15th or 20th. The unfortunate part about it, Val, is not that. It's the position. So your son, as a lineman, is probably only worth between $1 and $2 million a year for about $4 or $5, maybe $6 million. Jayden Daniels signed for $37.5 million, which is a little over $13 million a year, between $11 and $13 a year, or $13 million a year. That's a big difference. That's almost a $10 to $11 million difference between your son, although they came out. So I'm saying this to say that when you look at the NIL, that's the exact same thing. They may be at the same university. We all down at the University of Illinois, but your son is a tennis star and my son is a baseball player. But that son is a football, basketball star. So the money is different. So because of that, you represent your child. You're probably not going to be able to ask for the same type of money that I'm asking for my son, because I can say my son is worth $40 million when your son is worth $6 million. So you have to understand that. So what the NFL and the NBA try to do is level the playing field and say, okay, so that you can negotiate these deals, so that you can go get the box office brands, you have to understand a certain amount of knowledge of contracts and CBAs, which are those contract binding agreements. You got to understand those. When they go up, what the amendments are to those contracts, when they end. Also, there are bonuses, Val. He may be worth $37 million his overall contract and $12 million a year, but he's also got a $500,000 a year if he maybe makes the controversial player of the year. He may also get another $1 million if he has more than 30 touchdown throws. He may also get another $1 million if he takes them to the division playoff. He may get $3 or $4 million if they go to the Super Bowl, and maybe $10 million for winning. So when you look at everything, you've got to understand the package. And if you're not able to negotiate the package, and I put you in that room, Val, and your mindset is not used to dealing with 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $60 million on the table, then you may be a great momager, but you're going to leave millions of monager on the table because you don't know how to negotiate. This is why that all came about.
Yeah. So, but like I said, as of right now, she's become certified. So I guess, does it work against her that people now know that she's his manager, or does it work in her favor?
No, it works in her favor because she becomes a fully blown agent now. So now moving forward, Jayden has friends. So all the friends that he's got that maybe is struggling with an agent, can get more. So for example, just before we give it to his mother, this is something maybe you don't know. So he's actually signed to Agency One Sports, and that includes agent Ira Turner, Ramen Brothers, Ashton Wilson, and Stanley B. and Amy. So those guys formally represent him. But you can have more than that one agent. I can have Val, you're my agent. All you do is handle merchandise and merch for me. I got another person as agent. All they do is handle what I'm going to do, my signings, my deals, my youth. I have another agent. All they're on is my community service work. So again, Val, that's why you have to be versed in all of this and understand all the nuances when you get in that game.
Yeah, and I guess that's what makes it important. And so, moving on to let me go back here. Juju Watkins is another person that you wanted to make sure that we talked about on tonight. Coach,
man, let me tell you something.
What's up?
Come on,
What's
baby,
up?
baby, come on. Come on, baby, come on. There you go.
Now she's pictured here with her parents. She's pictured here with her parents here.
So let me tell you guys, if you don't remember, for promotional purposes only, I told you at the end of last year when Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark came out, there's another young lady you need to put your eyes on. Her name was Juju Watkins at USC. She trains with LeBron James, trainer and Coach Handy. I talked to Coach Handy quite a bit on LinkedIn. I'm trying to get him on the show. He's a Los Angeles Lakers trained. He trains all those guys. And she's best friends to Bronny James Jr. She was the person I told you, Val, several months ago that if I was Bronny Jr., I wouldn't worry about playing pro ball. I would just, have Uncle Rich Paul teach me the game, and I would represent Juju Watkins and my brother, who probably is going to go pro and live a great life as an agent. But I know, we got to chase our dreams. So this young lady now belongs to who? Yes, the Big Ten, baby, sitting out in LA. And you guys will get an opportunity to watch a lot of her this year. If you have not taken the time to sit down and watch this young lady play, you are in for a treat. They're ranked top 5. I got them all the way to the national championship game. Well, I got them to the Final Four. And I'm going to give you those down the road. But right now, I got South Carolina and Dawn Staley. I got Coach Ariyama up at UConn. And I got USC in there. And I'm looking for my 4th horse. I'm not sure who it's going to be, but I'm thinking Iowa may just be back. But this young lady got the complete package. The only thing that I do not like, Val, is the situation where I'm hoping they change it. And that is, for some of you that do not know, our young WNBA girls or college women cannot go to the WNBA, Val. Don't know if you know this, until they turn the age of 21. Whereas our young boys, they can go to college for 1 year and be one and done, start making money.
Yeah. And I feel like that is so not cool at all, that like that's happening. So this is horrible. This is really horrible that's happening. So, but like I said,
and these girls are good. And women basketball right now is on top of the arc. If there was an arc, Val, that does one of these wavelengths like this, they're on an upswing. They're on an upswing. You got the Golden State WNBA teams coming up. You got hopefully we're praying down here in Nashville, get a new WNBA team. You got Breanna Stewart and these guys that jump into it. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, they're jumping in this new league, Val, called Unrivaled, which you heard Coach Vince Long talking about. And then you got Athletes Unlimited that's out here doing kind of the Ice Cube Big 3 type situation. So it's been great, because the last time you and I really had an in-depth conversation about women's basketball, we were talking about, our girl, Brittany Griner, stuck in Russia over a weed pipe. So it's good. So now,
yeah, and like I said, this is really exciting. So right now, she is a junior or sophomore at USC.
She's only a sophomore.
Okay. Well, that means
you still got the next year, and for promotional purposes, don't even go in your FanDuel's MGM. She's on track, Val, to break who? None other than Caitlin Clark's scoring record in college and possibly assist record. So the girl is that tough.
What? I can't believe it.
Yeah, she's already got over
Wow.
350, almost 400 some points her freshman year, which is already a pass Caitlin Clark. She's already out rebounded her, and I think she's either sitting right on the assist line or just above it. So her entire freshman numbers have already matched or succeeded Caitlin Clark's number as a freshman in Iowa.
Well, congratulations to Juju. This is someone we're gonna be looking out, and of course, this
And
is really exciting. And of course, I wanted to make sure that we mention that Whoopi Goldberg. I see the chatter that's happening in the
hold
chat,
on,
so I'm
Val.
gonna get to that in like a 39 seconds. But we
Yeah,
did mention
hold
that
on before we
Whoopi
go to Whoopi
Goldberg is.
Goldberg real quick, Val. For those that don't know, that want to know a little bit more, and Val, I want you to check this out too. Juju Watkins, I don't know if you got that picture right there, but she becomes the first college female basketball player. We got to give her these kudos before we go away from it, Val. She's become the first college basketball player to have a brand new NBC docuseries on Peacock that starts November 23rd and 24th. So for those that do not know about her, make sure you tune in. Check out the Peacock channel for the documentary series on Juju Watkins, the player.
Wow. Okay. Well, then that is something we're definitely going to make sure that we check out. And definitely, I see that this is really cool about Juju. Now, am I reading this correctly? I'm looking in the chat and I see, and I think April sent this to me a little bit earlier. I think it's confirmed. I'm not 100% sure.
Yep.
This is according to this just in from Steve. Who is this? Kevin Springer. Denzel Washington reveals that he's going to be in Black Panther 3, and it will be one of his last movies that he does before he retires. Chadwick Boseman once declared there's no Black Panther without Denzel, but interesting. This is according to Hollywood Reporter. Ryan Coogler is going to be writing him in. He's writing a role for him for the next film, according
That's
to
dope.
Hollywood Reporter right now. That's
That's
interesting.
dope. And speaking of write-in, as April just mentioned, Whoopi Goldberg is writing herself into the brand new sports channel with women and launching her first brand new women's sports channel. And I think it's absolutely dope. I don't know how she's gonna do it, but I'm trying to reach out. Whoopi Goldberg, you up out there? Come holler at your boy. Come get at Coach Tony on the Pull Up podcast. Pull up on me. Let's talk about it. Love to talk about it.
So how do you think Whoopi is going to do with a new situation with her
Well,
sports channel?
she's a tremendous interviewer. We already know that. She's tough, and she loves women's basketball. And what I like about this channel is not just geared towards women's basketball, it's women in sports. So everything from the best what they're doing is soccer, the basketball. You know, Val, the one thing when we the podcast and all that jumped off and I had the young people and all that, and if you remember going back a while, I told you what, I wanted to really focus on the diamonds on the rough, the kids, different things of that nature. Because people, oh, you can't invite the kids. Every one of my guests has come on and been absolutely phenomenal because they just needed the door, the path, and the opportunity, right? I gave them the door, they walked down the path, and then opportunity opened up. And I think what you're hearing about from Oprah Winfrey, I really think that she's tired of the view. I think she's tired of that platform. And I think she wants to go do something different. And where Oprah left and kind of stayed in the same genre, Whoopi's like, you know something? I'm going to go ahead and chill because if you listen to her, Val, she goes to a lot of WNBA games. So why not get involved? We need more people like that. Why not get involved? Why not take advantage of it? And if you can be behind the scenes and get these great women athletes in, oh, that's amazing.
That would be phenomenal. And I think she has always been such a wonderful advocate of what happens regarding, I want to call it, women's sports. And of course I like I think I found out about on the Sherry show. I found out about it on the Sherry show. So I was like, oh, wow, she's going to be doing this whole brand new thing. And of course, Mr. Springer, he has put it out there for more information about the rise. NIL. Are you on IG or no? Or you're
Man, I
on
gotta
Twitter?
get on that. I'm on Twitter, so that's the Twitter at Chillman7 on Twitter, or X as they call it. So get at me
Okay,
on.
so you need to get on. You need to get on
I'm gonna
Twitter.
get on. Hey, I'm gonna get on. I'm Ride the Rhythm. Hey, Ride the Rhythm.
And I was trying to get permission to what do you call this? I was trying to get permission to what do you call this? Trying to get permission to do the new teaser trailer for Mission Impossible. But hopefully those
Oh,
guys will get back to me on next week, and then I could be like, all right, well, we're gonna go ahead and we can go ahead and show that. But most definitely, I'm very excited about that. Now, what I was trying to make sure that I prepare for, have you ever heard of this song, Coach? Let me see if I can get to it. I got a home I get to share. I got a love won't let me down. I got a home
you
in
gotta break me down.
heaven, in heaven. I got a home in heaven, in
Okay.
heaven,
No, I
in
can turn it into a house
heaven.
song though. That sounds good. Hey,
we could
Sunday morning,
give it.
deep house music, deep church house music. I'm on that gospel house Sunday mornings. Hey,
So, my church, we do a lot of sometimes we do gospel, but it's a lot of I want to talk contemporary Christian music. And when I met this gentleman probably about 10 years ago, I had realized he had written probably about 70% or more of our music that we sing in church. And you're just kind of going, oh, okay, because people that write music for churches, a lot of those guys have left. This music that was written like the 18th century, the 19th century, and it's still being carried on. Like Amazing Grace was written like back, um
it's damn old as the Star Spangled Banner.
exactly. So it's like way back there. And before I get into it, thank you, Mr. Springer, for going ahead and placing the link in the chat for Mission Impossible 8, The Final Reckoning. We'll get more into that on next week. But the person I wanted to mention is James Brian Craig. He is someone that I met and learned about, and unfortunately he passed away this past Sunday due to brain cancer. I cannot pronounce exactly what he had, but if you look at the year he was born, that's me. We were the same age. This
Wow.
freaks me out to see this, and he developed this disease with his brain about 2 years ago. But do you know he was still actively writing and still producing music? He leads. Oh, I'm so sorry. I went too far here. Oh gosh, here we go. Let me go back here. He actively was still what do you call this? Leading his ministry out in California and still writing music. So he's a prolific musician.
Wow.
Released albums, very well known, and I want to call it the Christian contemporary world. And so we are the same age. So this freaks me out that this gentleman is no longer here. That's him with his beautiful wife. They've been married since 93. I believe he has 3 kids. Yeah, he's got that looks like 4 kids. I think he's got 3 kids. I think that's what it is. So to the elders in the New York City Church of Christ, and that would be to the Craigs, we're all praying for your family. And like I said, this is someone who has written 70 or 80% of the music in our community of churches. And so I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned him as we close out our show, because he was like our Quincy Jones in our church, if that makes any sense.
It makes a lot of sense. It's that silent prayer goes out. You never can understand. As people say, I understand. No, you don't. All you can do is just bless my family. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said, it's something like there's been a couple of deaths that's happened. Of course, with last week we really celebrated Quincy Jones because of how much music he literally released to the world. And so thank you so very much for that, Mr. Springer.
Now I'm about to send something to you, Val. I got right after we talked about that the next day, I was listening to some house music, and I had what is it called? A compilation. I couldn't think of the name. Compilation of about a 45, 50 minutes Quincy Jones music compilation, all blended. I'm about to send it to you. And although we didn't get a chance to get to it, please, not only like us, share us, but stay tuned. Because Val and I are going to break down the new series of The Front Porch, what I love, versus the Tiny Desk series. That's coming. So stay tuned for that.
Of course. Now, coming up on next week with the Pull Up Podcast Show, what you got coming up with us there?
And next week, make sure you tune in. We're going to start putting this show out tomorrow, start promoting it. My guy, very instant, Val, I did want to tell you, he's just getting over some personal injuries himself that God saw him through at the beginning of his journey. This gentleman has taken the basketball world by storm and created an apparel company for strictly the basketball culture. And he called this company Hoop Culture. And for those that are diehard ball players with backpacks and hoodies, pants, shorts, shirt, basketball for your team, picnics, organizations, he's got it all. So we're going to talk about the transformation of being behind the scene like I am on the sideline and working with the kids to now becoming the forefront, getting away from that, and then launching his own apparel brand. So if you see the little logo that looks like a half a basketball with an H, that's Hoop Culture. That's him. And that's going to be Coach Mike Brown next week.
That's what I'm talking about. So check us out. It is the Pull Up Podcast Show with your guy here, Coach Tony Thompson. Not only does he know sports, but he also knows bourbons as well.
Watch out. Holla at the boy. We do a taste test. Keisha, what's up? Holla at me.
One of the latest audio podcasts that's out. It is Empowered and Focused, Lakeisha Mosley's Guide to Breaking Free from Toxic Patterns. You go ahead and scan the QR code and go ahead and check out the audio podcast, which was recorded live with Interludes podcast live back in September. So we're really excited about that. But I have a new one that's out called Madam President Deferred. I didn't get a chance to put the thing together for that, but I'll be pushing that on tomorrow. And of course, A DJ Saved My Life. It is available now. Please make sure to go ahead and get your ebook. Is the printed book coming, Valerie? Yes, it is. I'm hoping that Santa Claus will bring it immediately. So go ahead and get your copy of A DJ Saved My Life, and it's available at purelighthouse.media.net. And also there's merch that's there as well. So we keep adding merch, which is always exciting. And of course,
we always got to keep adding that so we can get it. And don't forget one other little piece to add on that, Val, before we get out of here too. Kevin reminded us, if those guys, if you have not been watching the Fat Joe series, talk to these artists, man, you got to tune in. The stars and Fat Joe. It's nice.
And then of course please go ahead and find your voice, join our community via Patreon today at patreon.com/interludes. It is what we do. It is how we move. It is what we do here on Interludes Extra Talk on Tuesdays. Now, before we really go, I just saw in the chat, April said that Quincy Jones left each of his children $80 million each.
500. Let me say, wake up on it, April. It came out to be $500 million that he left in total. 500. That's what said, whoa. That's that Martin money there. You know what I mean? That is, as they say, for those that do not understand about legacy, and building wealth and wealth on top of wealth. And, and whether the kids loved him or hated him or whatever, he still split it equally and didn't worry about it. So nobody's got to get mad at the next kid. That's wonderful. So, all y'all got this money. Now, for those that know how to, increase it, much love to you. For those that don't know how to manage it, go get help. And for those that are going to destroy it, leave that money alone.
Well, they should be pretty good, and their children should be good, and their grandchildren should be good. So please manage, do wonderful. We'll be back next week for another edition of Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesday. But you know what we say?
Peace.
See you next week.